Stage 2. Give me one moment. 1, 2, 3. Same setup as yesterday. Probably a little easier today. Going with the B ride, which is the greatest London loop, or the greater London loop. I think it's only about 27k, I think. We'll see how it goes. Anyway. I just finished breakfast and I thought I got 15 minutes to get on the bike and get it done at 9 o'clock, so why not? I had my injection yesterday. Pfizer version 1. Not episode 1. So, not sure how I'll feel today. Just feels like I've been punched in the arm. That's about it. This has got is it the longer Leith Hill climb in it, I think? It's not Box Hill or Fox Hill, I think it's a longer Leith Hill. It's been a while since I've been to London. London course released, I think it was 5 years ago the other day. I had a live stream on Facebook. Set up with an iPhone. Not even sure where we were. I think it was, we were still in Melbourne back then. And I had the iPhone set up to live stream to Facebook with the latest release from Zwift, which was the London route. 5 years ago, this week. Or last week, it was a while back. Yesterday's streaming issues, we had a lock-up halfway through the stream, which put me back about 45 seconds. Managed to recover that. And then right at the end, if you saw when I hit end on the stream, that locked up too. Possible USB issues. I've switched the stream deck over to another USB port. See how we go, but yeah, zero warning of that. Pairing brought to you today by Ant Plus, because Bluetooth, I was going to say, is having the weekend off. I think Bluetooth's had the year off, hasn't it? Horrible. Horrible experience with Bluetooth on Windows Direct. I wish it was better. I really do. Still waiting for Direct Connect to come out for Kicker. Kicker 5 support within Zwift as well. Yeah, we'll see how we go, Josh. Jet Black Direct Drive. Volt isn't too bad. My video on the Volt was out about 6 months ago. Slight bit of thermal drift as the thing gets hot. Other than that, the unit was quite impressive. Shorter stage 2 in 90 seconds, nice one. Yeah, I've chosen the B group for this one. London Pretzel. Look, it's the weekend. I don't want to. It's raining in London. Crikey. It's like raining out here too. 7 degrees here in Ballarat at 9 o'clock in the morning. What do? Jump on and try and escape, and we're in virtual rain. So just a cruisy one for me this morning. Coming off Pfizer dose 1 yesterday. Ballarat Health Services, 10 out of 10. Very professional. Getting it done. And the woman was asking me when she pulled out the needle, she's like, "Oh, am I okay to pull this out?" I'm like, "That's fine. I know how you guys operate quite well. I've had 4 broken collarbones and a broken hip and multiple." She's like, "What the hell?" And so she asked, "Yeah, I just feel like I've been punched in the arm. That's it." So the doc was like, "So, how do you end up breaking 4 collarbones?" I said, "No, I used to race quite a bit." Hey, Steve G. Don't crash after I win this race. No. Just cruising this one. Just here to tick the box off on stage 2. Do we not have any details? Lap 1 of 1, 26.1 Ks. Cool. Tim, I'm not magnetic, but I woke up dreaming of Windows 11. What else? And my 5G reception is phenomenal. So, yeah. The GB Olympic crash after winning gold. Which one was that? Was that the pursuiters or sprinters, or there's a few crazy things been happening at the track? Just to stir up a bit of controversy. I'm surprised that track is still in the Olympics, although it's always been there, and they're changing it up. But if you were to survey the amount of cyclists who have track bikes or ride track, the numbers are quite small. Then again, speed climbing, probably quite small as well. Where's the gravel gold medal race? Where's the criterium? A lot of flexing going on the internet with criterium racing at the moment. Throw that in the Olympics. Whew. Heart rate is. I won't be blaming anything other than my lack of fitness. Cyclocross, absolutely. There's more cyclocross races than there are track races. Come at me, trackies. Come at me. That'll stir them up. I'm not against track racing at all. I've raced track in the past. I've done a few competitions on the track. A few championship races and things, but track bikes, it's something you can't just go to the shop and buy. In a city here of about 110,000 people, I'd be very surprised if I could walk into any shop and buy a track bike. Not going to happen. Misha, thanks for the subscription. Welcome along. Ticker bike races, there we go. But if we change the Olympics up too much, it won't be the Olympics anymore. Hey buddy, how you doing? You good? Is that a shiner on your face? Someone ran full pelt into the side of a drawer this morning, didn't you, Maxwell? Yeah? Yeah, we're still locked down and looking to be extended again. I think it's the whole east coast of Australia lockdown, Tom. Yeah?
Yeah, so I have to start things but not.
Yeah, Tassie doesn't count. There, Maxwell. Aha, which tax did you buy? Please don't say Flux 2. Please don't say Flux 2. Please don't say Flux 2. If I say it 3 times, it didn't happen. Reason being is I've got a 20-minute plus video coming out shortly of me looping back and reviewing the Flux 2. I'm not grumpy in the video, I'm just disappointed. As I said yesterday, we're in lockdown, we've got all the time in the world, I'm going to drag everyone down with me and make a video of about 12 minutes of data analysis on the trainer. Thoughts on Zwift in general? Rowan, if you had watched the channel for the last 6 years, probably got your finger on the pulse of what I think of Zwift. My thoughts on Zwift goes up and down. Flux S, okay. Flux S isn't a bad trainer. Flux 2 is troublesome. What does Yvonne think of a new gravel bike? Yvonne loves the look of it. She loves the colour. She doesn't like the fact that I haven't let her go and ride it off-road yet until I get some photos of it all built up and shiny. Like, take it around the block, but don't go out and go full send because I want to get some really nice shots for the video that I do talking through the specs. But it's been horrible weather here anyway. More content for Zwift coming up given the increase in subscription base. Richard, good question. I'd love to do more Zwift content. Happy to do more Zwift content. That is entirely up to Zwift. And they have to release updates, changes in functionality, improvements. They're the things that I cover. I've got the base work down, what erg mode is, workout mode, how to join a race, all those tips. Last 6 to 8 months, I got nothing. There's a few little obscure UI things I could cover. But I'm sticking to the update videos at the moment. If you've seen those, they're getting a bit thin. It's all up the Zwift. I have the channel, I have the platform, I have the templates, the format, the followers to showcase things that are new. But it's up to companies to bring out new things. It's an update for Strava today for about half the user base. I might cover that if I get some time today or tomorrow. Has to do with those MAAP overlays that you see on the preview. Whew. Yeah, chilled ride today. That heart rate's a little higher than normal. I'm coming off the back of the second hard week of training, but yeah, I'm on the train, mate. I'm on the train. Choo choo choo. Yeah. Is the Flux S even worse? No, I think I had a better time on the Flux S than I did the Flux 2. Hey Maxie, where's Mama? Thanks, Max. How long have I been doing Zwift? Early 2015. I've been on Zwift. So I've got my handle on things of how it works and how it shouldn't. If you loop back to one of my blog spot reviews of Zwift back in 2015, covers what I thought of the platform at the time, 6 years ago, and where I think the platform's going to head. And I even predicted Elp to Zwift. I called it Zwift Duez. I was talking about they could run Grand Fondos, they do that already. Bunch rides, they're doing that. Group rides, all things that weren't there at the start. It was a natural progression though for the platform. I was pretty happy to predict most of the direction it has gone. Where's the buffalo? No. Can't ride that all the time. It is fun though. If I've missed your question, just type it again. I do appreciate the chat during these rides. Oh, your lungs after COVID too. Whew. Yeah, what a state we're all in. Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Nostradamus. One of my predictions, do I think... I don't like to predict this, but I want to see more standards unify things, like AMP Plus FEC works across the board for all software, all trainers, Bluetooth FTMS. I'd love to see that continue on with things like the Kicker Direct Connect port being an open standard. So everyone just supports it, done. It's not the way things are going though. The Elite steering, same deal. I think we'll just start seeing, rather than everyone come together and hold hands, I think we're seeing everyone isolate a little bit more and those islands grow a little bigger, which is okay if you're stuck into one ecosystem. Let's just say Zwift and steering, or what's another example, the Peloton bike, etc. Well, see, the Gplama with steering is an interesting one. Elite have done it with the riser, still unsupported in Zwift. I have the riser, it's still sitting on a pallet. I want to showcase it on Zwift. It's not compatible with Zwift at the moment, only the up and down part, so we'll see how that goes if that changes this month. The Gplama with steering, again, that really depends on Wahoo and Zwift working together because there's no standard for steering. And thus snowballs the problem of proprietary protocols and all of that. I'd love to see, which this is not going to happen, the software companies come together and agree that AMP Plus FEC is too slow, agree that Bluetooth, the FTMS standard, probably doesn't cover everything they need, and then as a group come up with new standards that everyone can use. You think that's going to happen in 2021, 22 and beyond? Not an effing chance in hell. That's just business though, unfortunately. Ideally, that'll be on the AMP Plus committee or the Bluetooth steering committee, so to speak. And Zwift have the resources for that, but they've also got a responsibility of return to investors. And if there's if they see it as doing all the work and handing it off to someone else or handing it to the community, it's not like open source software. I don't think we'll see these steering protocols on GitHub anytime soon. My Norton Summit ride on Ruby, really? I'm not sure I've done, I could be wrong, I'm not sure I've done a nice clean Norton Summit video that could be used for Ruby. Possibly be somebody else's video, I hope. But as for open standards and everyone holding hands, if they've used it, cool. Norton Summit's a good ride. Favorite HRM, one that works. So my favorite heart rate monitor would be either a Ticker X in the first 18 months of life. After that I seem to kill them. Polar H10, very reliable unit that grows legs and disappears because I can't find mine. Currently on the Hammerhead heart rate monitor. Heart rate's a solved problem for most vendors. 1 beat per beat. That's about it. It supports Bluetooth and AMP Plus. Problem solved. There's no guesswork in heart rate. How long did it take to get the Tron bike? I've no idea. I'm clocking up probably near 40,000 Ks on Zwift. $39,242. Let's see if this works. It does. If the stream locks up today, I'll quietly just disappear. Having some hardware issues in recent times. Frustrated at Zwift? I go through waves. Could they be doing a lot more? Hell yes. Absolutely. There's no pedals on our bikes. We're also running Durace 9000 group sets, mechanical. Little things like that. But I can put up with those. What I'd like to see though is just some innovation. There's a few things early on that made us go, wow, that's cool, that's new. How about that? You know, when they introduced workout mode, the workout editor hasn't changed in 5 years. There's a lot more that could be done with that. Like innovate. Make us go, wow. Make some people go, that sucks. But in doing nothing, I think everyone's like, nah, same shit. A lot of people complain about the UI and the graphics. Sure, it's hard to learn. I think device pairing needs to be addressed big time. AMP Plus, Bluetooth limitations, dropouts. You have to be an absolute expert to get it working. And it's always hands off when you're having issues because, oh no, that's your ant stick, it's not us. Oh, that's your Windows machine. That's your graphics driver. Being in tech support, it's really hard to support something that so many vendors have their fingers in the pie of. How is that solved? That's my main frustration. Just reliability. I mean, at the moment I have a watch, DI2, 3 power meters, smart trainer, ant stick. It's for the entry level rider. It's all too much. Even if you have one of everything, still too much. Sensor lock would be nice. You're going to say to Zwift, you know what? I'm using this kicker all the time. Only this kicker. Don't search for any others. That's the kicker that I'm using. Search for that non-stop when you first start. Yeah, I spoke about my list of 100 things I want fixed on Zwift, or 100 observations. That's been submitted over to Zwift, which resulted in a conference call pretty damn quick. Because I don't think they wanted me to make a video about that. I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, if I can have some positive influence on the product, you give me a choice of people having better products in the market, or me getting a few extra views on YouTube, have a better product, take it and run. The same with power meters, a lot of those I'll test and throw back at the company and just say it's not quite right, fix this. But the issues do add up. Oh, sweating up a storm. Low heart rate, crap power. Alright, we'll keep it low. Who's going to win this weekend? Springboks or British and Irish Lions? I have absolutely no idea. Is that rugby ball? I can talk cricket. Here in Victoria we don't do NRL, NFL, Union, League, anything like that. Victoria is just AFL. Sport kick. But is it that's the football where they don't use their feet very much. It's more their heads, isn't it? And the shoulders. Well, I'll be doing a casual ride live soon. This is it! 140 watts. This is Cash. Morning cycling Perth. Oh, look, if Zwift make clubs available, I am beating a dead horse over and over, wanting that to come out. I'm hoping to spin up a Gplama club within Zwift where people can join. I can create events for that club that only show up for those club members on their feed. And if you just happen to want to ride on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Thursday, I can create those events. Again, this is all theory. I can then create those events a few days prior, tweet it out, or send out the message that those Gplama group events will be on. We can all hit the start line and ride. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh, look at that, it's almost 2022. We're waiting. Favourite power meter? That's changing. The more I collect data, the less I want to know. Power to max has been really good. It's on the bike at the moment. Quark units, the spider base units have been good. After scaling up that spindle rival quark, that was also good after scaling it up. In-game kit creator is not going to happen because people will just put dicks on their kit. TTD, time to dick, is how those things are measured. Where a company will release the ability for users to do their own thing. You set a stopwatch, within a few minutes, giant penises. I'm not being funny. That's what happens. Left-sided crank meter for $700. Bruh. What sort? The Asiamas are obviously on the list, but a few things I'm diving into with those at the moment too. Overall, the Asiamas at a high level are probably the best to go with, pedal-wise, accuracy, and simplicity. You can put those on the bike in minutes. The cleats take longer to put on. FTP, last time I checked, not that I put too much stress on what my FTP is, I think it was 319, but doesn't mean anything without knowing my weight, and doesn't matter. Simply doesn't matter. Yeah, Jason, not bad, mate. First jab yesterday, didn't even feel the needle, did not even feel it go in. It's the benefit of crashing so many times on the bike and having a little bit of lack of feeling in the shoulders after having collarbone surgery both sides. Elevated heart rate yesterday afternoon, slight headache, possibly due to the Zwift race I did that morning rather than the vaccine. Had an afternoon nap, not uncommon in lockdown. Fine for me though. I'll take today a little easier. Trying not to push into the 300s too much. Yesterday was a total slog. I thought I'd go hard yesterday, especially up the volcano. In the event the vaccine knocked me around, and I had to take a few days off, but we're back. We're good. See, I don't drink, so the hangover phenomenon doesn't happen. Well, not from alcohol anyway. Wahoo power meter, $700. No. Not yet anyway, not yet. Single-sided power meter, left crank. To add to your existing crankset rather than buy a whole new crankset, you shouldn't be any more than $550 Australian. I wouldn't think. Andrew, who is your DNA now sponsored by? Pfizer or AstraZeneca? Again, I'm not doing a debate on whether vaccines are good or not. I'm just interested in what version people have. They told me yesterday that jab number 2 is probably the worst one. Yeah, the second, yeah, BJ. That's what they're telling me. Astra, yep, right. Okay, an observation from this tour is that it just splits up way too much. I think it might be the London course. There's either different physics or different something happening on all the other big bunch rides I've done. Tour of Watopia, Tour of Zwift, Haute Route, or Haute Route. Everyone usually bunches together. I mean, look at this, I'm in no man's land. Obviously, I'm not trying to hold any wheels, but gaps just open up big time. Not even on the climb yet. Ah. Five days, AZ. Whew. Jared, are you still out in the clean air of northwest of the city? should be able to go out there and smell all the horse shit, and it should solve all your problems. Good stuff. Lots of memories out that way racing bikes. Towards that direction is the Lancefield loop that the Hawthorn Cycling Club used to use for years. We've had tons and tons of club champs out there, TT championships and things. There's one corner off 3 Chain Road onto Dons Road. So for about a kilometre it rises up and turns left, and you can see any breakaways, or if you're in a breakaway. I might have told this story already, but it just made me think how old I'm getting. There's one section of the course where we would use year after year to judge our breakaway distance or chase distance or catch distance if you're in a TT. It just came up and turned the corner and gave you a big visual, almost probably a K1.5 you could see. So we drove back through there the other week, and it looks like this. There's trees everywhere now. So in my mind, it was always like it was driving through there now. I'm like, how are these trees so big? Yeah, that was about 15 years ago we were racing out there. Hey Martin. Welcome along. Quick scramble this morning to get on here and get the stream done. Takes about 10 minutes to get the stream set up every time. That's the going along and making sure YouTube is set up ready to receive the stream, Twitch is set up, the title of the stream, thumbnail updated, description, linking restream to that newly created event, and then loading Zwift. What have I got here? VLC for music, PowerShell for the ride-on stuff, and selecting the right sound devices to pump into OBS. Thanks. You're sending me PMs or DMs. They'll go in live stream too. Thanks, Jason. So I have the Stream Deck on another USB port today. This is just not the pretzel. The A ride is pretzel. After park run, hey, I saw was it the women's park run world champs or the Olympic champs 5K yesterday or last night. Phenomenal running. Or was it the men's? I can't remember. They're all so damn quick. It is unbelievable. If anybody's into running, what was the kilometre pace? Like those, I think is it the 1500 was done in 2:42 pace? Well, I saw that pop up on the screen for the last lap or something. That is crazy. Oh, marathon just finished. Damn it, I missed it. They started out early today. What were the times? If you have them on hand, as I search for emojis. Obviously, park run isn't done on a velodrome. Sorry, a foot velodrome. What do they call them? 2:27. All right. .29-degree heat. Humidity would also kill that, wouldn't it? Just tapping it under 300 here. As it gets steeper, and it goes to 300. More gears. Minute park run with U-turns. Whoosh. Hello, Portugal. What time is it there? I'm guessing very late. Just tapping, just tapping. How far to go though? Gabriel, yeah. I agree, something's up. There's probably always someone to ride with if I wanted to push ahead and hold a wheel. Oof. It's tougher than I thought. I have one gear left. I'm comfortable grinding. Until it kicks to 12, 13, what the hell? Off! Spoke too soon, didn't I? Mountain biking, nice one. Cross country, downhill. Where are you pointing that bike? Or all of the above? This grinds on and on. Nah, James. I've got my Pfizer lid on it today. Had my shot yesterday. First shot, so. Just being a little cautious. Well, by all reports, it's the rollback. But London has something different than the rest. So, I don't know. I can only go on what's in the changelogs. And the changelogs are pretty thin on detail. The trainer is at 100% difficulty too. Before anybody asks. There were biscuits had up the volcano for sure. I went way too hard at the start. And brought it home on the knees. Whoa. That middle section in the volcano really sucks where it flattens out. Disrupts the rhythm. Sometimes it's better just to have it just keep pushing up. Jeffrey, Pfizer first shot yesterday. Slightly elevated heart rate in the afternoon. Bit of a headache. Slept fine last night though. Other than that, I'm here cranking out 334 watts, still talking. I'm still alive. We're good. Is that the climb there? How about that? Awesome, that wasn't too bad. Push it to the red at the end there. Alex, I bet you it's a lot more fun in real life too. On the erg, it's just a slog. That's what happens when you have green drink bottles. It's not Smurf juice. Whew. Oh, we're off the edge of the map soon, look out. I didn't know they had the edge of the map actually shown there. Where are we? 38th place. That's all right. Another thing on Zwift is that my position of my little avatar icon up there, it's not on the hill. Thanks, Will. Day's only just beginning. The rest of my day sitting in front of a computer, editing a video that no one's going to watch. But please, I ask for forgiveness that my next video is going to be about 22, 23 minutes long on a trainer released in 2019. Feels like it was 1919. But it's my first look anyway, or first proper look at the Flux 2. So I will make sure I put chapters in it, so if you don't want to watch 12 minutes of deep dive data, you can just jump to my summaries and things. But there's not much going on at the moment. As I mentioned in the first couple of words of the video, with the lack of new smart trainers hitting the market at the moment, and people holding on to their current smart trainers a little longer. No longer are people going from the first gens to the second gens. A lot of people are holding on to their Kicker 18s, their Flux S, maybe their Flux 2. If you own a Flux 2, probably don't watch the video. Oh, but there are some interesting tidbits on it though, about how to update it these days. Thanks, Martin. Appreciate the chat, mate. Oh, Brazil, you're doing 2.6 behind me. Look out. So from here, if you want to make a game of it, I'm probably not going to catch Big John, who's 11 seconds up. But if you're ever doing a Zwift ride or race, or you just want to make your own fun, have a look at the time gaps just here. So if I was to race Brazil, that'd be interesting. Bruce ain't pedaling. 16 seconds back. Hey, Marcelo. But you just race the time gaps. Get 18 still going strong. There we go. So a race tactic here would be to absolutely jam it right here and pull out time gaps. What bike? Atom NG. Is it the Atom X? Or do they call it the Atom NG? I spoke to Wattbike about a year ago. I had a horrible time with the Atom original and the Lama lab test. The Lama lab test is very comprehensive and demanding on a trainer. My expectations of erg mode is also very demanding, probably more so than the average user. But if it passes my Lama lab test, it'll work for pretty much anyone, assuming all hardware being equal. The Atom didn't quite make it, the original, and that's what I say when people ask. So what bike got me on a conference call to find out why I was hating on their Atom? It wasn't an opinion, it's just that's the data. And we spoke about their next generation. or the Atom. Oh, so they had the Atom X, which they weren't going to send. It was only commercial or something like that. And then, yeah, I haven't heard from them since, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm happy to review anything I can get a hold of. My interaction with a lot of companies goes through the marketing department. I enjoy talking to technical people. I enjoy talking to marketing departments as well, don't get me wrong. But it's the techies who are more on my wavelength with how things work, how things should work. And a lot of them will get me across, you know, where I'm failing in either my testing or the different angles I should be looking at equipment. There's always good marketing on the other hand. If you're not towing the line, they don't reply to emails. That's the game. So on that note, I hope to get a hold of a few newer generation Wattbike Atoms. I always wish that Zwift would purchase Wattbike as a company. With their powers combined, they should be able to produce something pretty special, you'd think. Short sprint. Let's go, Brazil. Hold the wheel. Big ring. I caught you, Brazil. I caught you napping. Whew. That'll do. Like, I respect the tech versus marketing side of things. That's how businesses work. But I tell you what though, there are some companies out there that blow me away, as in really impress me. I talk a lot about things that piss me off and disappoint me. But there are a couple of companies out there who just nail it. They've got people who work for them who love their shit, love it. And they'll respond to any email, they'll jump on any conference call. They are brilliant. There's a whole spectrum, I guess. But it is really good to be in touch with some of those companies that love their gear. Steve, SRAM. Straight up SRAM. Their press release pack, their materials, access to the company, either locally or at a global level. Now, I'm not going to talk about the front derailleur. I don't own any SRAM bikes with front derailleurs. They haven't gotten back to me though about that power meter. Though they didn't shitlist me after me telling it like it was. That's a good thing. You see it across the board. And it's not just my interaction with companies, it's across the board. Here we go, just about to finish. I'll roll on for a few more Ks. 225 average, 236. Oh, 11 watts out of nowhere. That wasn't bad, that wasn't bad. Again, not pushing too hard. Why? No, don't just... See, there's no reason for it to tell me to return somewhere. There's no reason for us to even jump into a world before jumping. Let's not go there. But you'll see it, any company that has good press kits, good information, good embargoes, anybody doing content on them will have better content. That's myself, Ray, Des, anyone else covering things from an early independent first look through to GCN, Cycling Tips, Bike Radar, Velo News, all of those which sort of operate in a sort of a different sphere. The quality of the content that all of us produce really depends on the company. So SRAM do it really well. Been very impressed. Vivero are also up there. They do well. Suto T. It's mid-range. So Joe, what are you looking for? Is it your first trainer, second trainer? What do you race? What sort of workouts do you do? I don't want to ask you your FTP, but that's also kind of handy to know. If your FTP is 400, then something like the Suto is probably not suitable if you're sitting on 400 watts for an hour or two. The Suto T, so the T means it comes without a cassette. So it's the same as the Suto. So if you see a Suto for cheaper than the T, I'd be quite surprised. The Suto actually comes with a cassette. But availability of cassettes was difficult. Has been. Good mid-range. Has different power measurements or a different power meter than the Dorado XR. Dorado XR is a brilliant unit, probably the best Elite have produced. Just getting into it, casual rider. Cool. Yeah, Suto 2 would probably be a good option. Shouldn't require a spin down that often, probably once every few weeks. Packs up nicely. Tight and compact unit. Not too loud. As always, if you can buy locally, I'd always recommend that. From a local shop, one to support your local store. And also, should anything go wrong. Hey Maxie, have you got a mouthful of banana, mate? Cake? Oh, bread. You want to come say hi? Yeah, buddy, come say hi. You've been drawing? Come say g'day, mate. We're just cooling down. You want to hop up? Maxie wants to come visit and say hi to everyone. Oh, he's got a mouthful of bread. Ready? Can we do your hair, Maxie? Oh, you want to hop up? Ready for the hair? I don't think we can. You're not going to be able to handle this hair.
Still eating.
Still eating? I'm in the body.
That's freaking.
You pedal? Who's on the screen, matey? Who's that? Maxie. Yeah? Maxie bread?
It's stuck to it.
You're not pedaling too much, mate. Pedal. Oh, they just hit a hill. There we go. Thanks for visiting. Say bye, everyone. He loves bikes. Thanks for visiting, Maxwell. Dad's all done. We'll go through to the hour, though. Oh, he has hair for days. Hair for days. And I hope he gets to keep it.
We heard faces.
Oh, drawing faces? Ah, good stuff, the Lama. He's a good kid. We hit the jackpot with that one. He sleeps pretty well. But Von had him... Von's a project manager, so Von had him project managed. He's on a schedule. Our little Maxie took out my heart rate one. I said, look at that. So, Ant Plus doesn't go through kids very well. Hey, Raoul, how you doing? Now, I can only just see that flag. Is that Iran? Apologies if it's not. The flag is about this big on my screen when I'm looking. Aero helmet, let's go. So if you have any questions, observations, technology you want to talk about, power meters, bikes, fire away. Happy to have a chat. Cheers, Steve. MC Hamburger, I don't think I've even sworn today. What the shit? There we go. I did manage to chop out. So yesterday I had the machine completely locked up on me when I was in the bunch ride, you know, holding position. Quick scramble, I pulled everything out of the computer, put everything back in, started working. It's frustrating. So I let my frustrations be known. I did manage to chop that 5 minutes out of the YouTube video before YouTube demonetized me or anything. I still think I was pretty angry for the rest of the ride too. I did speak about TTD. Jeff Power. You'll only move forward if your power is reporting. So you've got to have that little power number at the top. If your kicker's dropped out entirely, your little guy won't move. Look at the moon. That's nice. Apple TV's usually rock solid, but things have changed recently with FTMS support for the Zwift app. If you can unpair and repair, if things stop moving, don't restart your Apple TV. You'll lose your ride. You can turn your kicker off, go to the pairing menu, kick it back on, repair, and away you go. You can ride without your controllable paired, but it has to have power. Best power meter to use with Zwift. The Yasuyama Duos are going to be quicker. They're on your feet. There's no lag at all. Although, there shouldn't be too much lag from the kicker core, but there's always going to be. I mean, that's connected through your drivetrain, through a belt, through another system. There are strain gauges in your pedals. You can't really get any closer than that. So in theory, quicker. You'll get more quality data out of the Yasuyama Duos for your left-right balance, if you want to track that. Go with the Duos. My opinion on the Garmin Rally XC, single-sided versus XC 200 power meter. James, that's an interesting one, and a discussion I'll have as we cool down. My video on the rival axis left-hand side meter, somebody pulled me up yesterday on that saying, look, I like your reviews, but this one, I don't quite know, because they thought I was dismissing the internet arguments on left-only power meters, but we were actually on the same page. Now, what this person was saying is that, well, first of all, what I said was left-only meters are accurate, usually accurate for what they measure. So it's not an issue of accuracy. So stages left, 4 eyes left, what else have I had? Pioneer left, XKD, Magine left, Yasuyama Unos, and the XC100, which is a single-sided left, plus the rival. Of all of those that I've tested, all pretty much within manufacturer spec on the left, so they're accurate. But what they measure is left and then double it to give you an estimation of total power. I gave people enough rope to make their own decisions whether that's good enough for them or not. Now, if you know you're 45, 55, it's not going to be good enough. If you're 55, 45, they're not going to be good enough. But I didn't really go into too much detail on that. I respect that people can figure that out. So I was taken apart for a shit review. It was more a misunderstanding of what I was saying. Because if you had asked me, I'm in balance, should I get a single-sided only? No. Get total power or both left-right. And that's the answer I'll give for that. So for the XC, if you are wonky and you know you're wonky, go the 200. If you're pretty balanced, you saw the data from, I'm speaking of my own experience with the rival. When I'm 50-50 on the pedals, I'm 49-51 at the moment for this 3-second average. The numbers are fine, and we're fine, and they can be really good. It depends. Another discussion around the off-road stuff, though, is off-road's a lot more punchy. Stop, start, clip in, clip out, highs and lows, but the left only may not capture everything perfectly, even when you're properly balanced. Something else to take into consideration. It depends how much value you put on the quality of your data. If it's just to get a number that's going to be within a ballpark, to get your TSS ramped up, and your CTL and all that under training peaks, single side is usually fine. If you're at, say, a championship level, state, maybe even a top club level rider, and you're trying to squeeze everything out of yourself, now people might say, oh, you're not pro though. Who cares? An amateur rider getting absolutely everything out of themselves to their own ceilings of genetics and time they've got to train still needs good quality data. Just as much as a pro level rider, probably even more so. Pro riders just have that natural talent. They'll kick ass anyway. So, it's a big discussion. Left or right, only or dual or total. So the answer is depends. I don't dismiss left onlys though. A lot of people say they're junk. They're not. They actually do a pretty good job. 6 route badges to go. Might go through to 40 Ks on here. I've got to keep getting there. Stepping up the Ks and the time on the bike through as the weather gets warmer. It's easy to do just 1 hour or 45 minutes on the indoor and call it a day. If you're not doing that normally and you're building up to that, that's great. But if that's what you always do for months and months and months and months and months, that's all you'll ever get to. So the last few weeks, I'm just trying to bump it up a little bit, even if it's just easy Ks like this. Good question, Elliot. If you have a Wahoo kicker, you don't need anything else. You don't need cadence on your bike. You don't need power on your bike. The kicker will do everything for you. So if you've got an old 9-speed or an 8-speed bike with mechanical down tube shifters, you can still get everything out of that kicker. And on Zwift or Trainer Road, Sufferfest, Full Gas, RGT, the kicker does everything. Training difficulty, I typically ride 100% training difficulty for what I'm doing. And how do I tell if there's a hill coming on Zwift? If there's one coming up, so you've got a little short map above me. I'll go to full screen. Hopefully this, I'm having some trouble with the Stream Deck. I think it's the Stream Deck shorting things out. So if I'm switching screens and the stream locks up, we'll say see you later, but I'll try and step through it. Just above my head there's a small grey line that has the route profile. That'll zoom in depending on, if I click on it, it doesn't change anything. You can see if you're going up a hill, I think it has the next 200 meters. Sorry, that's probably a few kilometers on the bottom grey, the bottom one just here. But then above that where my hand isn't, just pretend where my hand would be, there's your upcoming gradient of 200 meters, I think. But the bottom profile graph is usually pretty dodgy. If you're turning a corner, it will change. If you're not on a different path, it will change. Dan, no problems at all. If you've got a double up a question that I haven't seen, no stress at all. Kinetic Road Machine Smart 2 for indoor training, no. Not to shit talk Kinetic, but they've all... My experience with the Kinetic Smart stuff hasn't been that great. They're not usually in... They're not a topic of discussion in the forums that I frequent, and that's way too many online forums. That's not an opinion, that's just the results of the data that I grabbed from those rides and scanning other reviews and things. Look, it's difficult. If there's an alternate to that at the same price, probably lean towards that. But jumping off the page, if you were to say, Smart Trainer, Kinetic, just don't pop up. The R1, the rock and roll, into a Smart Trainer had potential. Just wasn't quite there. Again, I get emails for saying shit like that, but I'm not going to say it's a brilliant unit. What sort of price range are you looking at? What are the alternates at that price range you're looking at? Because if that thing's like $50, sure, go for it. But if it's, say, sitting next to a Suto or a Core, or maybe a pre-owned H2 or something like that, you'd never go the road machine. Thanks, Elliot. Okay, so you need reliability. Then go with a reliable unit then. Last thing you want to do, if you're snowed in, you don't want something blowing up on you. But if there's a local stockist who supports them and will have your back within a day or two if something goes wrong, maybe give it a shot. If you can test ride, even better. Lots of Aussies on. Everyone's doing lockdown laps. Hey. Big John. Can you test ride? Can you trial it for a week? Is the next question. Now here's the challenge. If you can't, steer clear of it. If you're not confident enough that the product works, enough for you to be happy, every product on the market, every single goddamn product that should be put in a box and sold, those companies should be confident enough to say, have it for a week. If you're not happy, give us some legitimate reasons why. If the power's out, maybe put it to them. If they have a 30-day returns policy, that's probably the better way to go. A lot of discussion around power meter accuracy, smart trainer accuracy. More specifically in the recent week with Zwift coming out with their list of requirements for the professional level racing, which involves about 0.00000% of their user base. So it's not something a lot of us need to worry about. With the requirement of the trainers they use have to be plus or minus 2% inaccuracy. Inaccuracy? Yeah, inaccuracy. That's actually the word. Companies self-certify. So, how do you take their word for it? Yeah, on my Tinder profile, I'm 6'3". Sure. Actually, don't have Tinder, but you know what I'm saying. Any tips from the old racing days? I got a million tips from the old racing days. A good one is if you're hurting, it's likely everyone else is as well, so attack. If the pace is high, just lift it and see what happens. A lot of mind game stuff happens. If everyone's hurting and you attack, you might only have a 10-meter attack in you. That can be enough for someone to drop their head, drop the wheel. It's one less person you've got to beat to the line. In amateur racing, if you can get in the breakaway with another strong rider, you usually win because there's no teams to pull things back. So a lot of club races, you'll roll out in a big bunch, a breakaway will go, and everyone's like, oh, no, I watch this on telly. They'll be brought back. Bullshit. There's no teams. There's no one getting paid to pull things back. Depending on the dynamic of the bunch. A lot of work has to go in, and a lot of is it collusion? Cooperation between rivals has to happen for a strong brake to be pulled back. Cheers, Dan. It's not what Favero or Kinetic want to hear, but at the end of the day, what I'm looking for, and I've said this elsewhere, is the ultimate goal. I'm sort of reflecting back on what am I looking for in all of this of what I do. I mean, for me, I kicked off blogging this stuff years and years ago because most marketing was bullshit and I couldn't stand it. That's still pretty much the case. I'm looking for things that I would use myself when there was no video cameras, when there's no Instagram, when it's not being uploaded to Strava, when I'm out riding my bike, wanting to go hard, wanting to have a good time, not be frustrated with dropouts. That's the equipment that I'm looking for. So that's kind of the angle that I look at things. And I ride this shit too, I ride it hard. If your trainer's not going above 1,000 watts in a sprint, it's not a good trainer. They need to do more than that. If your power meter's not accurate, it needs to be accurate. Bang on. Buy your wife or your partner the Kicker Core and ask to borrow it. There's always a way. Titanium, good question. What does... Oh, hello Maxwell. Hey, we're being interrupted. Maxi C's? You're not going to be able to fit through, mate. The wheels are too wide. See you, mate. Thanks for visiting. See ya. Almost done. We're going through the 40Ks. The plus or minus 1% or plus or minus 2% is, I think, communicated very wrong. They're like, oh, it's 1% accurate. Great, so it's going to read 1 watt if I'm doing 100. What does that mean? What that means is it's the margin of error. Or, margin of error you can expect. So if it's plus or minus 2% and you're doing, let's keep it easy, 100 watts, the meter could be reading 102 watts or it could be reading 98. And it's a little bit unclear about whether they mean consistently reading, say, 98 or 102, or one day it might read this, or one day it might read that, or one pedal stroke it might read this or read that. That's that 2%. It should be within 2% of what you're actually doing. Power meters are very, 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 very difficult. If you look at, say, your bathroom scales, and you stand on your bathroom scales, you've got to stand on and be still, and then it will take, bang, your weight. We're asking for almost better than that level of precision from our power meters whilst we're riding, and whilst there's vibrations through the bike, whilst we're cornering, whilst there's G-forces, whilst there's... It's phenomenal they could even get power meters anywhere near plus or minus 2. But they do. A lot of smoothing, noise reduction, averaging. I mean, we won't talk about oval rings versus round rings, but when things are moving in a circle, they're quite predictable, except for the speed, but they do very well. So that's what the 2% means. So if you've got an ASIOM set of ASIOM duos, which is, I think, plus or minus 1 or 1.5, and you have a trainer that is plus or minus 1, 1.5, then at any time, give or take drivetrain losses, that's another can of worms, they should be within the highs and the lows of both. I do reference that in my video that's coming out today if I can get through the 24 minutes of ramble. That a lot of the time when a power meter is out or off, it will always be just at about that, oh, it says it's plus or minus 3, so it's minus 3, right? Plus your drivetrain, plus your power meters, plus or minus 1, so it's plus 1. There's always this gap, it's always this gap, or even a little bit further. But if you think about it, on average, it should always be in the middle, as averages are. What are the odds? It can be either this, this, or this. Times 2 is at 1/6. 20% chance. Is it a 18%, 17% chance of things being one always low and one always high? Numbers, I don't know. But that's what that means anyway, just for a long ramble on that. What's stamped on the box usually is a serving suggestion rather than actually what is. Some are pretty close. Looping back, I'll get to the next question in a moment. Back to the person who didn't like my review on the left-hand side power meter. Okay, we're done with that one. We were in agreement though, it was just an understanding of what I was saying. Still rocking 2 fans. Yes, I have the kicker headwind in front of me because I can Bluetooth control that. Vornado next to me on the side just to mix the air a little bit more. Thoughts on the whoosh? Is that the band thing? My current take on it, I have absolutely zero interest in it whatsoever. Sorry. So, I think there's enough influencers out there with them on their wrists to tell you if they're good or bad. I have no interest in it. It's a bit too generic. Hey Maxie, how you doing, buddy? You back? Good job, buddy. Kind of in my ballpark for sports tech, but unless it's going to be hooking up to a power meter or someone has some sort of cycling specific application for it. I mean, I also look at content like that and think, if I was to cover the whoosh, yeah, would it be unique? No. Is that in my lane? Not really. I think the rival is pretty much pushing the boundaries of what I cover. There is a sports watch by a company that I cover a lot of stuff for. I'm using the Kicker 2020 right now. Kicker 5, Kicker 2020 is my go-to unit at this point in time, just for my own sessions. The power numbers out of it I trust at the moment. And it supports the bikes I'm putting on it. The Dorado XR is also floating around somewhere. Stages Bike SB20 is also sitting next to me. Will grip sets come with power meters as a standard? No. Optional. Optional. They're just going to push the price up a little bit too much. Shimano have what they call a power meter on their cranks. Hopefully the next version of the Shimano Durace, which we're still yet to see, has a purpose-built power meter rather than a crank retrofitted with strain gauges. SRAM purchased Quark and are now integrating that into their spiders and spindles. So there are options already there, but as standard, in a few years, look, I'd love to say it, but like, it's 2021 and we're not seeing hovering cars or hoverboards or flying cars. So, look, I'd say 10 years until it's standard. And if you're thinking, oh, 10 years, God, imagine what we'll be riding in 10 years. That'll come around sooner rather than later. Life expectancy of a Kicker trainer. Depends on conditions. Kicker 5, we just don't know. They're only 2 years old. Or is the Kicker 5 a year old now? It's only a year old. Haven't heard of any belts snapping on Kicker 5. Kicker 1, back in 2014. We hear of belt snapping on those. They are replaceable. But people have done up to 100,000 Ks plus. Look, if you can get 50,000 Ks out of an indoor trainer, you're doing really, really well. Time-wise, you should expect to get at least 10 hours a week for a few years out of a trainer. That's what I would expect. Zwift racing rules regarding equipment titanium. I think a lot of people raged about that because their H3 is not good enough, or their Suto T, or all the rest. But no one's holding. So on the positive side of this, the Zwift are actually in a position to make trainer companies accountable for what they put on the side of the box. Ray's tweeted out it could possibly have trainer companies lie about their specs. Yeah, that's absolutely the case. Let's just say a trainer was 2.5% accurate. Now the trainer companies can go, oh no, we think it's 2 now. How would you know? I think there's enough people out there with power meters and doing testing that we can keep them to their word, or we can try at least. But it's a good thing that Zwift that's one area they can say, well, we expect more from training companies. Is 2% good enough to determine a winner or a loser in a race decided by a tyre width? No. Not even close. The only way to solve that is to have everybody on the same equipment, which is tricky when it comes to sponsorships. Things have to be level though. In the real world, take the velodrome. Everybody's on the same velodrome. It's the same environment, same wind speed. Talk about that in a moment. Humidity, surface. That's the equalizer. Reality is fair and equal for everybody at the velodrome. Outdoors in a time trial, kind of. But if you start early in a TT and the wind picks up later on, or it's wet or it's dry, people have different environmental experiences with that reality. Indoors, where we simulate reality, if the trainer isn't the same, if one trainer does something different than the other, then it's not a level playing field. It's as simple as that. You're on different realities. So there's no way you could say a trainer plus or minus 2% versus another trainer that says it's plus or minus 2%. You have two riders of equal ability. You could do this with robots or dynos. Hook them up with a trainer, ride exactly the same race with two different trainers with exactly the same specifications, and you'll get different results. So it's the best of what's out there at the moment, I guess. Also, trainer response. If I'm up out of the saddle like that, well, the trainer completely missed that. The pedals got that, but the trainer missed that small acceleration. In real life, that puts my bike 2 lengths ahead of the guy next to me. What happened here? Nothing. But what if the trainer that someone was next to me on did exactly that and had a better response time, rather than this 250 millisecond update, dunk, 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 dunk? What if it was at 50 hertz and actually captured that acceleration? I just won the race just then by 2 bike lengths. It's a tough one. I'm not saying it's wrong how it is at the moment. It could be so much better though, and has to be. Ghana, what a monster. Was it these last 2.5 laps in the front of the pursuit, pulled back, was it 0.8 of a second? And they won it by, if you have a look at the 2 pursuit team times for the final, Italy and Denmark. It was Denmark, I'm pretty sure. I didn't have my eyes on Italy. Break that down into a percentage of what they won or lost by. Now, where's the parkland? Okay, it's this way I want to go. We'll go for a cruise through the park. I'm going to keep ticking on. We'll go to 50 Ks. It's early Saturday morning. Jason, price-wise and value is a tricky thing. If your parents take you to school in a Range Rover and on the weekend you're out in a yacht, then price is very different and value is very different to somebody who may not be so privileged. Depends how much you ride too. But good equipment is always nice to ride. The best value in bikes is probably one tier down from the top level. People will disagree with that, that's just an opinion. I like Ultegra Di2 stuff. Durace is nice. Ultegra Di2 does just fine. If you're in Bonnie Doon, probably riding a BMX. Mountain bike pedals on a road bike. As a pure roadie, no. Not at all. Just not something that I would do. Almost done. It's all downhill from here. Yeah, got 5Ks left. Yeah, Maxi, got some juice? But they will work though. Mountain bike pedals on a road bike will work if you want dual-sided clip in. "10-second, 200 metres, 3 laps in a row against New Zealand." That was Ghana. Yeah, Jeff, lockdown 6. Here's what it is. Coffee shop's still open, so we're happy for that. I've got to put the hat on. Can I put the hat on now? Does it allow me to go to... Anybody seen that meme? Hey kids, where the old dude has the skateboard over his shoulder? That's how I feel like right now. This is not the full climb, is it? Not what I was after. I wanted to go Richmond Park. That's where I wanted to go. Whew. I did have a laugh with Zwift saying it's one of the most exciting unlocks or so. No, it's not. Greetings, fellow kids. It's a unique unlock. I wouldn't call it exciting. I don't buy into the socials about, you know, which animal are you on Zwift? I'm 43 years old. I don't give a fuck what animal I feel like. I feel like an old sloth. I'm not sure the crossover between young kids playing computer games versus adults living in a fantasy land. I took the wrong turn again. I get it, but I think that's also the appeal of something like Trainer Road or the other platforms where it's not gamified, it's not dressed up and pranced around as rainbow bright. Oh, you dick, turn left. Backwards hat. I'll get my last 50Ks just doing loops, just like outside at the moment. We can only go 5Ks from home. GTA 5 Zwift. So that is a bit of fun. Hey Maxie, how you doing, buddy? You've got a car? Or you're telling me to stop? Car stop too? Okay, go to London and then we turn around. I'll try that. Give them a little... okay, so those with little llama icons next to their name over on YouTube, they're channel members. See, that's cool. You'll get that in comments too. You won't see it up here because it's an aggregated API for the chat from Twitch. Speaking of Twitch, I have to do my duty on Twitch, which means we have to enter a hot tub. So those who aren't aware, you're watching on YouTube. If you're streaming on Twitch these days, if you're not in a hot tub, probably be kicked off the platform. So, splish, 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 splish. Hang on. It's not lingerie, it's a wetsuit. "5,000 subs, I'll write your name across my forehead. 6,000 subs, I'll write it on another head." Gotta have a laugh every now and then. Come on. Apologies if I've offended him. No, I'm not going to apologise for that whatsoever. I'm offended by Twitch. And I don't have a huge set of jugs that I can actually monetize. We do what we can. And mate, that's exactly what I'm going for. There is a serious discussion to have around that though. The gaming platforms focus that the younger demographic have been exploited. Is that the word? By certain strength. There should be another platform that simply is that. Look, if you're going to flaunt it, you've got it. Do that, that's fine. But when I'm loading up Zwift, searching for Zwift streams, hey, given you're a dude, you may be interested in this. Well, I might be, but I'm searching for Zwift at the moment. Can only laugh, can't you? Those who deserve the respect, though, are the athletes over in the Olympics who are putting in the hard yards. The cameras are there, but that's not why the people are there. They're there because they're putting the hard yards where no one's watching. That's from the runners, the rock climbers, the skateboarders, everything. The camera's there just to entertain us. But they'll be still doing that effort even when we're not there. So I think it finishes this weekend too, the Olympics. If you do the math on the cash that you can bring in from having, say, that many subs or exploiting the system for what they'd... It's phenomenal money. It is a lot of money. You're into the many thousands per day. And I'm not joking. May sound absurd, but the scale of those things globally. When's the men's marathon on? We saw the women's today. I think the men's marathon is on. Is it tomorrow? Did the Olympics finish with the men's marathon? It's a lot of hot tubs, especially if they're in $30 hot tubs. You're pulling a few K per day. Is it sustainable though? Something like that. They changed the terms and services over on Twitch. And you're out on your, well, what everyone has seen, your butt. Men's is always the last event. Okay, cool. 50 Ks. In an hour and a half. Nice one. Good ride. Super smooth stream. We have 0 drop frames. We're streaming at 60 frames a second. And we have 0 drop frames for an hour and a half. Yay! Pretty happy with that. And that's post Pfizer vaccine episode 1 for me yesterday. All good. So as I've mentioned, I have a long video coming up on the Flux 2. We've been locked down for the last week, so I've had some quiet time with the Flux 2. So digging into all the details on that today. And I will put chapters in the video, as I mentioned before. So if you're not into 12 minutes of data analysis, that's okay. And again, I have a few different things to do on the bikes, given we can't ride anywhere at the moment. Put the bikes up on the bin nights tomorrow night. Don't worry, I got that on the watch. Looking forward to that. Might have to put some pants on to take the bin out. It's a big day. 50 Ks in the bag, done and done, and stage 2 knocked off. Thank you everybody for coming along for that. That was a scrambled together live stream. But we got it done. Give some ride-ons. If you're in lockdown, welcome to the club. Have a look at your route badges and maybe tick a few of those off. Yeah, the Tour to Zwift, the Tour off the map tour. They're all one and the same. Yeah, tick those off. I've done 2 of 2 now. There's 4 all up. I have to wait a few days for those. Predictions of Endurace 13 speed. I don't think they do 13 speed. That's unlucky. 12 speed, probably. When is it coming along? No idea. They are dragging their heels on releasing that. I think we all know what it's going to be, which is possibly, I think the speculation is, wired at the back end, the front derailleur and rear derailleur, with one single battery there, which makes sense. Wired all up at the back. Gear changes, wireless. There's no reason for them not to be wireless. And the Bluetooth and ANT Plus modules built in because it's wireless, and hydro brakes. Probably to keep Team Ineos happy, they probably have a rim brake version of the group set as well. Yeah, as soon as it's available, I'll be purchasing the set. But I don't expect that to be this year, to be honest, to be able to purchase that retail. Love my Di2 stuff on the road. Absolutely love it. Works flawlessly. Battery lasts forever. I'm keen to see the technology and what they've changed in it. Even on the power meter side of things, if they've redesigned that crank. I really hope they've redesigned that crank. Yeah, it's a lot of hot tubs to pay for that, for sure. Hey, look, I'm not against hot tub streams. We might have to do some to raise some funds for the Di2. But if you want to keep it straight and narrow, you can hit that membership button on YouTube as well. That really helps out and contributes for things like that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, I have Axis Rival put up on a Sparrow for Von to test out and ride along. So I'll be covering that top to bottom very soon. That's a fun group to build. And we might have a discussion on that video around the different group sets and how SRAM are really modular for the Axis. So everything's compatible with everything else. Kind of like Di2, but Di2 really keep it almost straight on the line of Ultegra, Durace, 105, but 105 doesn't even exist at the Di2 level. So SRAM are running rings around Shimano at the moment, but you never know, that might change soon. Alright, time to jump off, spend time with the family, and I think coffee number 2 is coming along. Go get yourself a coffee, and enjoy the Olympics last few days. Anyway, thanks for watching, we'll be back maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Alright, cheers.